Welcome to today's Practice Advantage Pro. Today I'd like to encourage you to give yourself a call. That's right, give yourself a call at the office. Now, it may not be you, it may be somebody that you know in your family or a friend or perhaps a patient, but I'm encouraging you to give yourself a call at the office because it is the main conduit, one of the main conduits to you, your clinic, and your services. So why might I encourage that? Well, it's because the phone gets answered perhaps differently at different times of day. Give yourself a call at 7 a.m. You might get the answering service and you might want to get the kind of read on what does that voicemail tree sound like at 7 a.m. in the morning. Then again, you would want to try it at a busy time of day, maybe 10 o'clock in the morning. When patients are coming and going, your staff is frenetic. Again at noon. Do they switch the phones over to voicemail or an automated system? Or is somebody scheduled to be taking the calls? And is there something about that noontime that's a little bit different? Again at 3, and then 5 toward the end of the day. Making sure that if you've got a live person answering, they're still at the same energy at that time of day. Now, what are they listening for? What are you listening for? You're listening for the accuracy of the information. Are they using the same name of the clinic or the physician every time? Is it stated clearly? Does it talk about availability? Is there a welcoming tone to it, whether it's live or voicemail? I don't know how many times I've heard a voicemail tree with somebody in the practice putting the voicemail out while they were climbing into the minivan on the way to the soccer camp with the kids. You hear the background noise, you hear the kids, you hear the ding-ding of the ignition and the alarm systems in the car, and they've got that on their voicemail tree as a message. So some counsel around voicemail. You might want to make sure that somebody in the practice is the voice behind your voicemail. So it would be maybe the front desk person, maybe it's a provider, maybe it's yourself. You want to have a voice from the practice. Secondly, you want to make sure that they're stating things clearly again. It's clearly stated by the person in the practice. You want to have them standing so that they're able to articulate things well when they're standing and project things well. And assume that there's somebody in the background that they're talking to. Maybe even want to stage it, have somebody behind them as they're talking so that it feels like there's a live interaction on that phone. And lastly, you want to make sure that this is all done in a welcoming tone. Next, is there that escape to attendant option? How many of us, I'll raise my hand here, how many of us have been in those voicemail trees where it just seems like it's the vortex, it just pulls you in, but you can't really talk to a live person because you don't fit any of those categories. Lastly, out-of-office notifications. Again, not thinking about that on your way out the door and doing a quick dial on your phone as you try to cover yourself for that vacation, but be thoughtful about where people might be going if they're contacting you while you're away from the office. So, give yourself a call. And remember, first impressions are typically lasting impressions. Thank you for joining us for today's Practice Advantage Pro.